So the feds, number one, have to pay up the city of Toronto. This is where myself and the mayor I agree 100%. They owe the city of Toronto $150 million.
Joe Russell with the front line with Joe and Joe. Once again, let's go into the breach. Dougie Ford says he's going to be all over the federal government to make sure they handle the Canada refugee situation. They're sleeping in the streets and the Hamburglar's pissed. Play the clip.
So the feds, number one, have to pay up the city of Toronto. And this is where myself and the mayor I agree 100%. They owe the city of Toronto $150 million. And I can't even put a number on the expense that we've done through education and healthcare and so on and so forth. So if you bring new people in, that I've been encouraging them, by the way, to bring new people in because we need to fill the 300,000 jobs, you have to step up and you have to give them working permits. Like that is shelters number one, working permits are number two. And so I'm going to be all over the federal government to make sure that they get these people back on their feet. You can't just drop people and say, okay, we're all done. It doesn't work that way. We need to work collaboratively all together.
Dougie and Olivia Chow, they must have had a conference call. They got to get money from Justin. What's he going to do? Probably nothing. That's what he usually does when there's a problem. The refugees are sleeping in the streets. Dougie, let them sleep at your house. You could make a barbecue and or let them work at Ford Fest. They could work security. I know you're a rock star. These people can help you. Let's give them some jobs. Put them up in your house for crying out loud, Doug. Olivia Chow could get them some jobs too. Ultimately, isn't that what it's all about? We're building back better together.
Small fringe minority who are holding unacceptable views.
This is unacceptable news. Financial Post reports Canada's standard of living is falling behind the rest of the developed world. No kidding. The person who wrote this article probably had to drive to their office, saw someone taking a poop outside and was like, gosh, I better address this. By the way, my car better not ride through your poop or I'm going to have to write another article. As far as pick up the poop, that's your Cheech and Chong gummies are now 100% illegal. I'm not talking about gummy bears. I'm talking about marijuana gummies. Wonderful, Canada. Munch away. Just what you need. Gummies. THC gummies. Probably coming out of Vancouver, those crazy freaks. I love this picture. This kid looks like he's been eating the Cheech and Chong gummies. He has an exchange with Trudeau. Trudeau's laughing. Maybe Trudeau's been eating the Cheech and Chong gummies. If he isn't, maybe he should. Your mayor in Toronto, Olivia Chow's taking selfies on bicycles. Get used to riding bicycles, Canada. Gas is too expensive. I hope you have strong legs. And when it's cold, tough crap. The BC port strike rages on. Look at the exchange between these two men. Trudeau's basically like, don't worry about it, guy. Don't worry about it. The other guy's like, he's lying directly to my face. I can't stand this freak. Trudeau's like, I know you can't stand me, but guess what? I don't care. Look at Trudeau's motorcade. 25 SUVs, give or take. Play the clip. I think they're all attending a climate change meeting. By the way, guess who's paying for that gas? You are. Justin Trudeau showing off a little bit of his bling. Do you have any bling? Oh, I forgot. Bling's bad for the environment. No bling for you. Dougie Ford is in the news again. The Hamburglar doesn't play games. He's facing calls to rescind the King's Counsel appointments given to lawyers within the Progressive Conservative Caucus as the government faces increased backlashes over the growing patronage scandal. Play the clip.
Two simple letters have ignited a small but growing controversy at Queen's Park. Just before Canada Day, the province appointed 91 lawyers to the King's Counsel, allowing them to add the initials KC after their names.
It's something that brings us in line with other provinces and most of the other Commonwealth. The people that have received it, you will see, are worthy recipients, and I'm glad that we did it.
The King's Counsel is an honor in name only, given to lawyers who demonstrate legal excellence and service to the Crown.
What it means is this is a senior member of the profession who has achieved excellence, has served clients very well, is someone that, yes, you can count on to provide excellent service in a legal capacity.
But the Ford government is being accused of turning it into a patronage appointment. The designation was given to nearly every single lawyer in the Progressive Conservative caucus.
Couple points. You see Dougie walk into that meeting? He has a smile from ear to ear. How fake. He's like, my goodness gracious. He looks like a 5-year-old taking a picture at school. I had a picture at school when I was 5. I called it the booger picture. My mother hung it up anyway. I had a big snot hanging out of his nose. That would be more appropriate. That smile's so darn fake. He looks like he's a schoolboy, but I digress. Second point. These freaks want a KC designation, King's Counsel, at the end of their name. How about we put this designation at the end of their name? You lazy freak. How about that? Or how about this? Do something. How about that designation as opposed to KC? Dougie, let's get on that. I think that'd be a great memorandum to float in your caucus. Outside of that, wipe that snot out of your nose and stop smiling that fake smirk, Dougie. Go eat some burgers and drink some beers. This gentleman tells the people the sound of losing your freedom. A knock on the door. Play the clip.
This is the scariest sound you will hear when you live in a communist country. This is the last sound my parents heard when their fathers were taken away in the middle of the night, and they never saw their loved ones again. That's the sound of losing your freedom, the sound of always living in fear. That's my family's real life story. We escaped from Vietnam just days before Saigon fell to the communists. We were given a new life in the most generous country on earth. America saved my life. I graduated from the United States Naval Academy. I earned a master's in physics and fellowships at MIT and Harvard before the left replaced merit with racial quotas. I spent my life trying to repay my debt to America, my country, our country, with 25 years of service in Navy Special Operations, combat in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia. But now our country has taken a dark turn. That's Joe Biden's Justice Department sending 24 armed agents to arrest a pro-life activist in front of his family.
People, socialism is the baby brother to communism, and it doesn't work. Historically speaking, socialism doesn't work, nor does communism. I'm going to tell you what works. Capitalism with moral boundaries. What do I mean by that? You have people who run countries, who run businesses, who come from good families and have deep roots in a belief in God. Let's keep it general. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We live in a pluralistic society. Let all religions exist, and let's follow the golden rule. Come from strong families, and then you don't hear that knock on the door. Communism is bad. And guess what? Guess who's knocking on your door? China! A Canadian citizen calls out Dougie Ford. She says she has to pay out of pocket for health care. She also says she pays too much money in taxes for health care. Where's it all going, Doug? Play the clip.
So I've tried to get into a walk-in clinic because my doctor can't see me for another few days, but I want to get tested for strep throat. And I called a walk-in clinic and they said, oh, our doctor's not taking any walk-ins, but you can see our registered nurse for $95. So I said, this isn't covered by OHIP. And she says, no, OHIP won't pay her. So OHIP is denying payment and they're being forced to charge people. So we're paying out our butts in taxes for healthcare, that the money that is supposed to go to them, and Doug Ford is hoarding that money and not going towards services that we're actually supposed to go to. And so on top of all those taxes, we have to pay out of pocket for services that are supposed to be covered. Thanks, guys. Thanks for voting in Doug Ford, or not voting. Okay, thanks. Fuck you. Bye.
Couple points. Everyone in America thinks the Canadian medical system is just wonderful. Oh, in Canada. This lady's telling you otherwise. You should pay attention. That's point one. She's a regular person. And these are the people we should listen to, not our politician. People on the street. That's point one. Point two, lady, do you think Dougie is going to pay attention to this message? You got to go to Ford Fest. Go to Ford Fest. Buy him a burger. He's a rock star. He doesn't have time for this stuff, for crying out loud. My father used to say for crying out loud. Now I'm saying it for crying out loud. For all my American listeners out there, and you Canadian listeners will get a kick out of this, Steve Bannon says he's going to war with the establishment. Ultimately, the establishment in Canada and the U.S. does not represent the people. They really don't. I know Bannon's a little nuts. He walks out, he's a little portly, he's got fireworks going on. He thinks he's like in the band Kiss. I'm waiting for Paul Stanley to come out and start jamming some Love Gun. But I digress. In all seriousness, the battle is between the people and the establishment. Honestly, many of these other fights are distractions. All people of goodwill have to take their country back. The establishment no longer represents the people in Canada and the U.S. We live in oligarchies. That means the few rule. We vote, we hand them power, they do whatever the hell they want because they have an agenda, and that agenda isn't you.
I have absolutely no sympathy for the failing, dying, globalist, mainstream media in Canada. I have no sympathy whatsoever. Let them go bankrupt as far as I'm concerned.
Hey Canada, show the country that you stand for freedom with one of these hats from our store. Your purchase supports this channel. Check out the link in the description and order yours now.